fucking my agent. How about you, Danny?
Yes, that is the one-woman show that I wrote. And the title of the play is it alludes to something, but it's really not about what you might think it is. A lot of actors, consciously and unconsciously, in their career moves, sabotage themselves and fuck their agents over. Let's say you've been working with your agent for a number of years. Let's say you've had some really good auditions, like really good stuff. Let's say that maybe you haven't booked, but you've got some really good auditions and your agent has helped you build your career. And then let's say that the actor in question suddenly goes, you know what, I'm going to leave. And then that's it. No good reason for doing that. That's an example of an actor fucking their agent. 90% of the work that we do as sensitive, empathic artists is actually mental, it's psychological. So actually it's like, no, this is first. Our heart is first, our brain is first, right? We need to sort this out. Once this is sorted out, everything else takes care of itself.
To this trap of going like, okay, I just need to focus on this, and it's only acting, and everything else is on hold, and then I'm gonna wait, and I can't go on vacation, and I can't say yes to anything because it's just acting. And then at one point you're like, why is nothing coming? Why is it not working?
When we overreach in our career, we get frustrated because we can't reach the next rung or what we're trying to get to. Actually, it's like, no, we want to reduce the size of the steps we need to get to that place. It's so much easier then. Let's say you go to the gym, you make marginal gains. If you go to the gym, you do a small amount, but on a more regular basis. The acting industry is exactly the same. If you go to class on the regular basis, you're going to be in the right energetic mindset to receive that. Otherwise, you're going to be a little bit like up and down.
Before, I believe that consistency is like doing everything every day to the 100%. And the days that I couldn't, I just felt really bad and, I was frustrated with myself. But as a matter of fact, it's like doing just a bit of it, but like regularly on consistent basis. And it can be like someday 1%, the other day 50%. But it's just that it happens throughout the sufficient period of time. That's the consistency.
Loosen your grip on something, it comes to you. If you hold on to something tightly, whether it's anything like love, right? If you hold on to someone too tightly, they're just gonna, like sand, they're gonna go through your fingers. We've just been talking for 5 minutes and we're just hitting, they're just going straight into the depths. I love it. There's no fucking about, it's just like, straight into it. I love it.
I'm here for the fuck, honestly.
I'm here for the
last thing he said.
What a great name for a book as well.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it. Danny, thank you so much for being here.
I'm really excited.
I'm so excited. You know what? You were the first one to reach out and just like go, girls, I love what you're doing. I want to support. I want to be on the podcast. And since then, this has started happening. But like, you were the first, and we were like, oh my God. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Danny, I need to introduce you. You are so much, and you're so talented. And you are an actor, a fabulous actor. You're acting coach. That's how we met.
Yes.
You've been coaching me, and I love it. You're an agent. Wait a minute. He's a writer, you guys. He is also producer and a director and has his own management company. And it's like amazing, everything you're doing, and it's so beautiful. And you know what I want to start with? I want to start with, I'm fucking my agent. How about you, Danny?
Yes, that is the one-woman show that I wrote, and I started in 2020, and it really came out of lockdown. But it's such an interesting play. Daniel, my business partner at Actors Coach International, has seen it when we were in London, showing it in London. I had 1 or 2. I think it was 2. Was it 2 or 1? Okay, I'm going to say 2, but it may have been 1. I think it was 2. I tried to take my life twice in 2018, and it came out of that period of time where it was, oh my God, this is like I'm at kind of rock bottom in my life at this point. And now, like when I started writing it, it came from a monologue of that. And the title of the play is quite, it alludes to something, but it's really not about what you might think it is. And the subtitle is a play about casting consent and cappuccinos. And actually, as a woman, full stop. No, let me rephrase that. It's about the male gaze as well. And most of my female friends have had some form of exploitation or sexualization from men. And essentially that is one of the themes of the play. Yeah.
Please do tell us more. Can I go back to what you just
Of course.
said?
Yes, of course.
And you said you want to take your life twice. Is that
Yes.
what I heard?
You did.
You
yes.
are such a beautiful, gorgeous soul. I am sorry to hear that. And I'm so glad that you found a way to just embrace your gorgeous life.
Yeah.
And you're so strong. And the way you support everyone around you, also the actors that you're coaching, like me.
Yeah.
So this play helped you go through that period?
It was cathartic. Yeah, it was absolutely cathartic. And you know what? We've just been talking for 5 minutes and we're just hitting, they're just going straight into the depths. I love it. There's no fucking about, it's just like, yeah, straight into it. I love it. But yeah, I mean, I have so much empathy for anyone who has had similar experiences, similar thoughts. And, I don't recognize that person now. I mean, that was 7 years ago. I don't recognize the person anymore. But also, I know that experience would not have brought about this play. So I can see actually the good that came out of it, essentially. Yeah.
But you had a lot of success with it. Please tell us about that.
So after I wrote it, the idea was to put it on in London. So we put it on in London. We found a very good actor to play the lead role. There's only one character, one role. And then I do some voices in the play, some voiceover stuff. And then we took it to Edinburgh Fringe a couple of years ago. And we sold out Edinburgh Fringe. And it doesn't just appeal to actors, but it's about the acting industry. And one of my goals now is to get it published. And there's also a producer friend of mine have teamed up on it to put it on at the Soho Theatre in London with a very well-known actor. I can't reveal who that is, but she is reading it as we speak, or maybe as we speak, but she's definitely been reading it. Yeah.
Okay, so the next...
We're manifesting it.
Yes, we're manifesting
with
it
right this moment.
Now she's reading it. You can see
Yes.
her sitting on this beautiful couch in
Yeah,
her room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a
Having a blast.
cappuccino, just saying, and I don't know, some wine. And she's reading and just going like, fuck yeah, I want to do this. I'm fucking my agent too.
Yeah.
I've got a question because when you look at the title, I'm fucking my agent.
Yes.
It's obviously provocative, right? So I guess that's what you were going for. But at the same time, what you revealed, it took me a little bit, my heart goes fully in for you. And I'm sure this was, a big experience. And I'm very glad and very thankful that you're on the other end of it and you made a beautiful play.
Thank you. Thank you.
You said that there's a lot of subtext there, and it's interesting with this type of title that you expect something completely different. You expect something.
I think
maybe
it's
a little bit. Yeah. Please go on.
Oh no. I don't mean to interrupt you. I was gonna say about our first impressions of anything are just that, first impressions, and then it's like anything in life when we kind of scratch a little bit deeper. I was like, actually, you know what? There's so much more nuances there. There's so much more variation there than perhaps we think. And maybe that was a subliminal thing. You know, I was toing and froing about having a title of just the initials, IFMA. And then people are like, what does that mean? And, you know, they'll be explaining. But I think at the moment, I think it works very, very well. And I, you know, it's completely deliberate. And I just,
that's what I wanted to ask, yes.
yeah, exactly. And, you know, coming from an agent's point of view as well, a lot of actors consciously and unconsciously in their career moves sabotage themselves and fuck their agents over. So it's also a bit of a fuck you to actors who do that, and I know plenty of them.
Yeah. Woo, let's go there. I think this is important. Let's go there. Really, I do think it is, because so many times it's the actors. There's like, the agents they're not doing anything for me and blah, blah. Yes. Yet now you are saying they are fucking their agents over. What do you mean by that?
I think it's part and parcel of the human condition to sabotage yourself.
Yes.
If you are not aware of what you are doing. And a lot of actors do it. So one example could be, for example, I was about to say there's too many examples. One example could be, let's say you've been working with your agent for a number of years. Let's say you've had some really good auditions, like really good stuff. Let's say that maybe you haven't booked, but you've got some really good auditions, and your agent has helped you build your career talking to all these casting directors. So when they pick up the phone and talk to a particular casting office, the casting office know who you are because of the work that the agent has done over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. And then let's say that the actor in question suddenly goes, you know what, I'm going to leave, and then that's it. Nothing, no good reason for doing that. That's an example of an actor fucking their agent. And all that work, all of that time, all of that effort has just disappeared instantly. And you're like, what the fuck was that about? That is an example of an actor sabotaging themselves.
Do you think they are kind of losing their patience? Maybe something that they expected is not happening or not happening fast enough? Or is it just like, what is it, do you think? What is the internal process?
I would hazard a guess that a lot of actors can get in their heads about where they think their career should be. Now, if they are getting regular good auditions through their agent, it's not their agent, it's themselves. And 99%, well, maybe I'm making this statistic up, right? But like 90% of the work that we do as sensitive, empathic artists is actually mental, it's psychological. So actually, it's like, no, this is first. Our heart is first, our brain is first, right? We need to sort this out. Once this is sorted out, everything else takes care of itself. Yeah. So I think losing patience, I think some actors do, but they also like, hang on a minute. They get like in their own heads about where they think they should be. And I did an Instagram thing just yesterday about overreaching. Like when we overreach in our career, we get frustrated because we can't reach the next rung or what we're trying to get to. So actually, and then we blame other people. We blame our agent. We blame whoever. But actually, it's like, no, we want to reduce the size of the steps we need to get to that place. It's so much easier then.
Yeah, it's also like expectations and something that we build up inside, and then it crumbles down. And but in reality, it never existed. It's just something that you created.
Absolutely, yeah. I think expectations are incredible because we can be lit down by our expectations in the industry, right? You know, it's if we have very high expectations, for example, you know, I'm going to get on this particular TV show. That's great. That's fantastic. But also, how are you going to achieve that? And a lot of actors make the mistake of actually making that leap without knowing the next step. It's always the next step. So,
So
Yeah.
what would you say, we're jumping back and forth, but like, what would you say is a good is a good agent? What would he or she can do for the actor?
You know,
How the smart actor would use the agent, apart from, you know, the obvious, like booking the castings and how to build this relationship?
everything, every self-tape request, every meeting, every inquiry, every offer is built from a relationship. And this is an industry built on relationships, right? So actually, you know, it's always, for me personally, it's a two-way street. So the actor doesn't, so I'm sorry, the agent doesn't work for the actor. They work for each other. It's a two-way thing. If it becomes too one-way, in other words, if the agent is doing all the work and getting little return from the actor, or the actor is doing everything and getting little return from the agent, it's going to be unequal, and at some point that's just going to burn out. So actually, it's a two-way process, you know. And I would say that knowing yourself and getting very specific about the things that you actually want to do and actually want to be cast as is key. Which is why I set up my another one of my companies, the Intentional Actor, just about getting more intentional with the areas of work that you want to do. And it's not typecasting. What it is kind of knowing yourself and how you can be realistically cast in the next project.
Okay, let's go there, because as we said before, you're an acting coach. That's one of the things you're doing. You're doing a lot. You have ACI, Actors
Yes.
Coaching International, but now you mentioned something else. Is that
Yes.
inside ACI, or is this no?
No. I set this up with Jen a few months ago, and one of the pitfalls is being too general, right? As you know, Eva, right? In our coaching, because you're a coach too, you know, like it's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I liken it to a relationship, right? You wouldn't be in a relationship with someone in real life who was a bit airy-fairy and a bit 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm not too sure if I want to be with you, but maybe I'll just a little bit kind of thing, you know. No, you want commitment. You want to commit, not just in the work, in the scene, whatever it is, but you want to commit to your career. And my work, you know, when Jen and I set up this company, our work is committing yourself to your artistry, committing yourself to your work, and also holding you accountable as well. You know, because as much as we want to be on all of the things, we can't. So now we're kind of getting a little bit more specific on the things that would be good for us to build our career up, essentially.
Okay. And how exactly does that work? Like how do you work, Jen and you?
Mainly on Zoom, but also you can do, you know, phone calls or in person as well. And it's about, you know, I send out a short questionnaire, like a 2 or 3 page questionnaire about what is it that you want. Let's, you know, and I hate goals. I don't like goals because goals are kind of a tangible thing. It's, you know, are you meant to feel better after the goal? You know, it's like, of course, we all want to book work, but actually there's a lot of growth work in there as well. You're not going to book work unless you're at that point, you know. So once the actor sends back the questionnaire, then we kind of work together on getting to the next stage of what it is that they want to talk about or work through. Headshots, essences, for example. Now, a lot of actors don't talk about the essence of headshots because maybe they don't know. But essences aren't types. Essences aren't job titles like police officer or, you know, whatever. They're essences of who you are when you walk into a room. And if let's just imagine that it's a party that you don't know anyone. What are they thinking about you when you walk into the room?
I'm always asking myself that question. No, I'm joking.
You know, but that's your essence. It's like your natural essence of who you are. You know, are you a bit of a kind of a quirky, like slightly weirdo loner type? Are you an untrustworthy type? Like what's going on here? You know,
is it more about like first impressions or?
Yeah, of course, because we work in an industry of impressions, right? And that's what a casting director, showrunner is thinking. who doesn't know you. That's the key point.
Mm.
If they've seen your work, no problem. There's no way we can do it. But if they don't know you, what are they thinking? Because like it or not, this is a, you know, we live in a judgmental world.
Yes.
So when we walk into a store and people see us and we see people, it's like unconscious judgments are happening in our reptilian brain. You know, are they? You know, it literally comes down to: do I want to fuck them or not? Do I? Are they a threat to me or not? You know, and it's like, okay, fine, that's it, and we carry on buying our milk and wine, right? So that's like a very similar process to casting directors. They literally have a couple of seconds to look at your headshot, for example. What are they thinking? Boom.
I love, I'm just seeing this film where we would like have that and you see like what people really are thinking when somebody walks into the grocery store and is buying like milk.
Hey.
It's like fuckable.
But it's, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. It's like, you know, we have the reptilian brain for a reason, and it might seem really simplistic, but actually when we're in public, when we're in the store, whatever it is, our reptilian brain is trying to look after us. And it's only it's only advanced a small amount from that point, from survival to actually, oh yes, I can cast this person as a lawyer, but he's a bit of a shifty lawyer type thing. You know, it's not that huge of a stretch. And yes, let's write the film, let's do it.
You also teach the actors who work with you how maybe a little bit manipulate this type of image, because maybe they're going for a particular role, but what they are presented as doesn't match the reality of what they're going for. Do you have a little bit of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people have, as talented as some actors are, and I know, as you both do, some very talented actors, and just on this call, just working with Eva is an incredible actor.
I can testify to that.
You can testify, right? Exactly.
I'm the biggest fan.
But it's like we only really have 3 or 4 essences.
See, my camera didn't deal with that. It was like too much.
That's hilarious.
So the camera's gone.
This is like so on point as well.
Yeah. It's okay, Valeria. We just have Eva's voice. You know?
I know. You have me. I'm here. I'm back. I have no idea. My camera's just like, no.
Too fabulous.
No. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's like, have you ever sat down and thought, right, okay, what's my essence? What's my essence now? We're like, you know, it's a really good exercise to do.
I want to dive in deeper because this is something that you just started. It sounds like it's pretty new, or like that you're building it. Yeah, with your wife, right?
Yes,
your gorgeous Jen wife. She's amazing. Valeria, she's so much fun. She has this. There's something about her. She has this toughness and softness at the same time. Like it's really special.
Combination, though.
It's really special. I love it. Like wow.
Yeah. She does get that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. She does get that tough thing and / soft thing a lot. So
yeah, it's amazing. So this has nothing to do with scene work. This is nothing to do with that. This is more really marketing, right? It's
And
tell me more. Like really, how do you work? Like let's say I want to do this with you guys. Let's say I need new headshots. Let's go there.
Okay. Yep.
How would this work?
We're not just a CEO of our own lives. We are the head of marketing as well. We're the post people. You know, we're the administration. We're the head of finance. And this body, this face, is what we have to work with as actors. Like we can do a few little amendments here and there, but by and large, this is the selling point. So we work in a selling medium. So we sell this product to the buyers, the casting directors, the showrunners, the producers, the directors, all of these people. So they're buying into this. So if you came to me for coaching, for example, and not, not scene work, not acting work, but coaching, it's like, okay, what is it that you want? And some actors don't know what they want, and that's okay too. But if you said, okay, I want to try and get this, and I want to try and get this kind of look and this kind of essence and something through, because on my show reel, there's a clip here. We will try and align your headshots to your show reel or to certain clips in show reel. One of the big no-nos is headshots that don't align necessarily, because it's like you're making it as easy as possible. And I use a visual analogy. I may have used this in class, Eva. I may have used this in class. But if you imagine, this is what I imagine, a big round room, a big circular room.
Mm-hmm.
And in this circular room, there's you and the casting director, right? And you're just like there and, dancing clearly. And there's lots of doors in this room, right? Lots of doors everywhere. Now doesn't matter what color they are, what material they're made out of. In my head, they're like 15th century medieval big wooden door, castle doors, but there could be any kinds of door, right?
I'm there with you.
Right. And the casting director's looking around going, where can I place you? And all you're doing is you are guiding the casting director towards a couple of doors. Less choice is easier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, this is how you can cast me. It's not saying you can't play lots of different types. It's saying this is how you can cast me, essentially.
So it is the door into the industry. It's kind of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't it? Because the thing is, this is the marketing thing. It's like, if you market for everyone, you're reaching no one. It's just the energy is just nobody knows what to do with you. It's exactly, it doesn't matter what you have. If you're an actor, if you have your own company, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
another exercise I use similar to that is going, okay, so let's get some well-known names that you have an essence of. So because I see a lot of breakdowns that say something along the lines of, we're looking for a such and such type, right? So like, I don't know, one that is used quite commonly and perhaps lazily, but also commonly is, if they're looking for like an everyman type, they'll use the reference of Martin Freeman.
Okay.
And Martin Freeman hasn't, to be fair, Martin Freeman has not been an everyman since, 2003, but that's fine. You get what they're saying.
So interesting. I feel like he's very particular there. Interesting.
Yeah, no, of course. But this is like a typical reference from production. So it's like if you have a couple of actors like that are well known, you're like, if so and so and so and so had a baby mixed with so and so, this is me. I would be a mix of these people. So for me, for example, I would say, if Walton Goggins and Simon Pegg and Ethan Hawke were to mix, that would be me. That's
oh my God. What I mean? Who would be me? Who am I?
Who are you, Eva?
Who am I?
Who are you? A good question. That's a good question. You've got a little bit. Okay, I've got one straight away.
Somehow I have Liv Tyler just coming up into my head
Liv
for some reason.
Tyler's
I don't know.
a good one. So I've got Kirsten Dunst. I've got what's her name? Oh my God, she's just, I forget her name. She's really good. I'm gonna. It's not Elle Fanning. No, it's Dakota Fanning. Might be Dakota Fanning as well. A little bit of Dakota Fanning. But yeah, something like that. Something like kind of interesting vibes.
Okay, so may I just ask you then a little bit more, because I think this is really interesting. And for everyone, if you're please watching, I hope you're watching, or even if you're listening, Danny's amazing. He's a brilliant coach. Where we're going into is the newest company that he has. What is the name of it again?
theintentionalactor.com.
theintentionalactor.com, with his beautiful wife, Jen. And so what we're going through with him now, if you're not watching, but if you're listening, is like how he would work with you.
Yes,
which is
100%.
really interesting. So somebody like me comes to you and I am confused myself. I don't know, what exactly is it that I am? Like, where would you place me? What would you say? Like, would you be able to help me there and tell me like the essence of me, or where you would,
Yes,
yeah?
100%. In fact, Jen does a separate course about, the essence of you and who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually rather wonderful. A lot of actors feel overwhelmed. A lot of actors feel stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh my God. And that's simply because they are concentrating on the wrong part of their career. They're concentrating more on the results
Ah.
or the auditions than actually what's here in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of there's a I used to get a lot of messages on Instagram from actors saying, well, I've emailed 150 casting directors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard back from one. And now I feel really stuck. And I'm like, okay, it's a lot of casting directors, right? You don't have to email 150. You can email, say 50. Let's narrow that down. Let's look at let's work smarter rather than really, really hard. And actually let's be really specific about what it is that you're putting in the email, because that really matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
that's
if you,
exactly my sorry. That's
no,
exactly
you
my
please.
question is because 150, how much of an essence you can put in 150 emails? This is
I mean, it's probably fairly generic, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the
Sorry,
industry doesn't do generic. I don't do generic. It goes back to what I said earlier on about commitment, about, you've got to lean into the parts of yourself that actually just spring out. And it goes back to knowing yourself as well. There's no point, like, yeah, just celebrate your essences, essentially. That's what my book should be called. Celebrate your essences.
We should write it down.
Yeah, of course.
As you mentioned in your book, you're obviously a writer, and that's what I'm interested very much so, because you have a depth of experience in your life, a lot of maybe good firsts, but sorrowful firsts as well. And you wrote a book which you called a Manifesto for Men at the beginning.
Yes.
And it's about making love to your creativity. That's another very exciting title. Tell us about this book. How did it come about? What it means to you, and why do you target men in particular?
So I clearly write titles for subjects that are on a certain theme. But yeah, I mean, How to Make Love to Your Life is the title of the book, and then a manifesto for your creativity. What I've found, and I was going backwards and forwards saying, shall I write it for men or shall I? Because I found that a lot of men or people that identify as male can be a little more stuck, perhaps because of social cues, perhaps of the patriarchy, living in this Western kind of thing where productivity is celebrated, and if you don't produce, then actually, you're bad, right? And that's just nonsense, as we all know. But then I thought, actually, no, I'm going to open up to everyone, because everyone has creativity running through them. Everyone has something that they are creative for. And this is a very informal book using examples about kind of stepping into it more and realizing that actually, okay, this is a different way of looking at my life now. And rather than, I know we have sworn a lot on this podcast, so
it's okay. Let it out.
fuck. Just starting.
rather than fucking my life, let's make love to it instead. And there is a difference. The difference in the energy, the difference in the intimacy, and the being gentle, and the kind of, okay, let's do that, essentially. And that's why I thought, actually, you know what, this is quite interesting. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. That is just gorgeous. Making love. That is just,
yeah. And this is the thing. I mean, I'll give you an example. One of the chapters is called, oh, fuck, what's it called? I forget the subject line, but it's about audacity. It's about being audacious. It's about being bold. It's about stepping into the part of you that for perhaps many times in your life, you were audacious and bold and courageous. So a long time ago, a 17-year-old boy went with his family to the Universal Studios in California, just on one of those tourist buses that go around the places there. And on his way to a bathroom break, he disappeared and went to a soundstage where he got chatting to this guy. And the guy said, "What are you doing here?" And the 17-year-old boy said, "Well, I'm very interested in film. I make 8mm films in my bedroom at home, and I'm an aspiring filmmaker." And the boy said, and the guy said, "Okay, well, show me some of your 8mm films." He did, and he showed him in his office, and then he was like, "Okay, that's great, thank you so much." And the boy left. The next day, the 17-year-old boy came back, this time wearing a suit, carrying a briefcase, and he found an office that wasn't being used. And he came to and from there every single day that summer, 17-year-old boy, for like 2-3 months. And when he was there, he mixed with editors, he mixed with directors, he mixed with actors, he mixed with writers. And he even had the audacity to have his name in tiles on his office door. And it said, "Room 37C, Steven Spielberg." And that's what I'm talking about when I say about being audacious. He wasn't even employed. He was just like, this is where I belong. This is where I belong, and I deserve to be here. And I think he's made a bit of a name for himself in directing or something.
just
but,
a little bit.
you know,
a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we know him. Yeah.
I think his name rings a bell.
Yeah.
I've maybe seen 1 or 2 of his films or more.
Oh my God.
Wow. So your book is not yet published, right?
Correct. Yes, that's right. I'm just doing some rewrites right now, and yes, and then I will be looking for a publisher.
Okay, so you're looking for a publisher. If you're listening and you're a publisher, check it out. Talk to Danny. This is something very, very yummy, as everything else that he's working on. I would like to go back to, if you want to, I mean, you can't tell us too much about the book, obviously, because you are writing it, and it is then going to be published, and then you will obviously do the marketing around it. So we won't be asking you too much about it. But I would love to go back to the acting coach, ACI.
Yes.
Tell us about that. You know what? Where we're going to go to? We're going to go back.
Oh, yeah.
How did this all start?
ACI?
No. Why is Danny an actor?
Why is Danny an actor? Danny is a middle child and therefore felt undervalued and unseen in his childhood. And he thought he's better choose a career that is going to be on the stage and seen by people.
That's the best answer we ever had.
That's the best answer ever. My camera, I don't know what, every time something cool happens, my camera's gone. I don't know what's happening. More. I'm here. You two are here. It's fine. We'll just leave it. But tell us. I'm listening.
It's really interesting. I definitely think, the middle child syndrome is a thing, 100%. But also, I'm really good at it. I'm really good at what I do.
Oh, yes.
And actually, and I'm not, that's not to say bragging. That's kind of, no, I celebrate myself because I'm really good at that. I'm really good at this thing. I'm really good at this thing. Really good. So it's like, okay, great. So why would I not? Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
I'm a white British person, and I don't believe in the kind of being all modest. It's like, no, let's celebrate it, But yeah, it's why do I do what I do? I really enjoy it. I really like everything. from the self-tapes to the kind of marketing of myself, and yeah, acting. It's a small part of my life, but it's a very important part of my life.
Okay, interesting. You're saying it's a small part, which is
Yes.
interesting because
Yeah.
you do a lot around this career. Like
Yes.
you're doing so.
Yeah.
What do you mean by it's a small part, which I think is really healthy? And I think it's
Yes.
very good and beautiful to hear. Please tell us more because this is something that I think we all need to hear. Why am I saying this? I have fallen into this trap of going like, okay, I just need to focus on this, and it's only acting, and everything else is on hold, and then I'm gonna wait, and I can't go on vacation, and I can't say yes to anything because it's just acting, acting, acting. And then at one point you're like, why is nothing coming? Why is it not working? Because you're just so stiff and you're just pushing, and then you're like, and now I'm like, okay, some time ago I was just like, fuck this, I'm gonna let go. This doesn't make any sense. This isn't fun.
I'm a big believer in universal energy and synergy and universal timing and everything. And if you loosen your grip on something, it comes to you. If you hold on to something tightly, whether it's anything like love, right? If you hold on to someone too tightly, they're just gonna, like sand. They're gonna go through your fingers like water, right?
True.
So it's like the things that you can concentrate on is your life outside of acting. Acting is not something that you could depend upon. It's not saying don't take your work seriously. Of course, take your work seriously, but actually treat, and actually Amy Poehler says this, the wonderful Amy Poehler says this in her book. What's her book called? Yes, Please. It's called Yes, Please.
Right, yeah.
He says, treat your career like a bad boyfriend. Like, be ambivalent about it. Be ambivalent about your career, because actually, unless you're making your own work, unless you are producing your work and casting yourself in roles, you have no control. You have no control over this career. You have no control what other people think of you or say about you or cast you. So actually, why worry about that part of yourself? Why worry about that part? Why not worry about where you're going to go on a holiday next week with your partner? That's the thing that you should be looking at, because that's the thing that's going to sustain you when times are going really crazy, like in your mind, when you're thinking too much about your career. It's like that's the fun stuff. Concentrate on the fun stuff, and that's what I'm talking about when I say about, acting is a small part of what I do, but it's a very important part, because everything fills me up in different ways, and you have to find ways to fill your cup up that's not acting, because acting cannot be relied upon to do that.
We saw so many examples from the industry when people over rely, especially if the success came to them at a very young age. They feel that's who they are, that's what they're always going to be and to be doing, and then the reality crushes them and they end up not in a very good place. And some of them of course recover, but yeah. So
no, of course, absolutely. And I think it can happen at any age as well. Just and the danger is when you concentrate too much on your goals and you focus too much on your goals, that actually, even if you achieve that goal, so let's say you get a gig, let's say you get a wonderful gig and it's great and you're on set and it's like, oh my God, everyone loves you and people bring you coffee and tea and all the rest of it. You've got your own trailer. That's wonderful. Great. Oh, this is how it should be. And then that gig finishes. What then? You go back to the person you always were. So, and that is not sustainable. You can't do that. So it's literally the next step. Okay, and it's the power of consistency, as well.
When you talk about consistency, you mean in your life, as in what you're doing? What do you mean by that?
Like, let's say you go to the gym. You make marginal gains if you go to the gym and you do a small amount, but on a more regular basis. The acting industry is exactly the same. If you're in class, and of course there are many, many good classes, many, many good classes to choose from. I'm not saying to go to ours at all, but I'm just saying there are many, many good classes. like if you go to the if you go to class on the regular basis, you're going to be in the right energetic mindset when that job comes along, when that self-tape comes along. You're going to be in the right energetic mindset to receive that. Otherwise, you're going to be a little bit like up and down. You're going to be waiting, and then it comes in. It's like, oh my God, it's going to, that's one example.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the thing about consistency that I kind of learned in the past, I don't know, 2.5 years is that before I believed that consistency is like doing everything every day to the 100%. And the days that I couldn't, I just felt really bad and, I was frustrated with myself. But as a matter of fact, it's like doing just a bit of it, but like regularly on consistent basis. And it can be like someday 1%, the other day 50, the other day,
Yes.
90. But it's
Yes.
just that it happens throughout the sufficient period of time. That's the consistency, not that you're going every time to the extreme, to the point where you're burning out yourself and have absolutely no, not even motivation, but no wish to continue down this path. That's what's consistency, at least for me now.
Yeah, of course. And I think that I've heard similar stories, Valeria, about actors thinking, oh, I've got to be sharp 100% all the time to kind of do it. And it's great. And I've just got to be it. And, I'll work 10 hours a day and I do this. And that's very, that's not healthy, shall we say. That's not
Not
good.
at all. We're just not designed to do that. That's for sure.
Sometimes we have days where we think today was a win. Why was today a win? Because I got out of bed.
Yeah.
That was a win. And that's okay. Like, we don't have to tie up our worth in our productivity at all. So, and I do genuinely think that in most things, like with a few exceptions, like perhaps, open heart surgery or, flying a plane or something like that, you can kind of run at something at 60% and just make the rest up. Like, if you need open heart surgery, don't come to me, because I'm just saying, I'm not, I don't know what this does, this organ, I have no idea. Let's just take it out. No. You want to go to a qualified doctor, all right? But like, the industry that we're in, we can run it. We don't have to be at 100% all the time. Even 40%, we just run at something and just make it up as we go. We don't have to have it all worked out. We don't have to have it all planned out. We don't have to be
also
perfect.
Have to be fun, because it's filmmaking, and sometimes, like, I had experiences throughout the last year of different sets, and sometimes people become so stressed that they just, like, it seems like you're in a factory producing toilet paper. It's like so onerous, like people get so burned out, they get so stressed that it's no longer, it lacks the playfulness. But this is like, it's an entertainment industry. It has to be fun, not at all times, but like it has to be in the mix somewhere.
Yeah.
No, 100%, I agree. Sorry.
Yeah, love it. No, exactly. Celebrate the fun. 100. Yeah, 100%.
Danny, this is why I fell in love with you. You have such a beautiful big heart. And the way you see the industry, the way you support the actors that come to you to the, ACI, when you're coaching us, you create this beautiful, safe space. At the same time, this space is really just there to like not stay inside of it at all. It's like experiment, get crazy, have fun, come back, like whatever like helps you to connect as deep as possible to the character, to what you're doing, to yourself, using your instrument. And I just want to say that because when you were talking now, it is this, you give one this, it's like a little bit of a yes, just be yourself. Yes, it's okay that you're not 100%. Yes, it's okay if you can't do anything today. The only thing you do is wake up and get out of bed. it's okay. It's even okay if you can't even get out of bed and you just decide to lie in bed and, I don't know, watch some series or read or whatever. And that is such a healthy way of working with people and giving them that, sometimes we just need it from the outside because we get so stuck and we get so, or I can do that. I get so, not rigid, but I'm like, I can be like mean to myself, to be honest. I'm like, you have to do this. Well, if you're not, you are a loser. You're not good enough. See, this is why it's not working because you didn't do that. And I was doing that, on and off. I could do that. And then I started working with you. And I was like, I'm just going to breathe. I'm just going to relax. So please tell us more. Like, yeah, tell us how did it, how did ACI, how did it all start? Why did you start, that program or your coaching school or whatever you call it? And yeah, please tell us more.
Man, just as you were saying that, I just so much emotion coming up. And it's so interesting because, you're saying these wonderful things and, how you have been affected by the work. But actually, all I'm doing is I'm holding up a mirror in front of you and reflecting your brilliance back at you. That's all it is. And that's but here's the thing, right? If you were to write yourself a permission slip, what would it say? And sometimes for me personally, it's like I give myself permission to go deeper into the work, to kind of feel more into the work, to kind of explore and have fun. And I think the whole notion of permission slips is really exciting to me. Anyway, we're going off topic for your question. Your question was about ACI and about what was your question again?
Well, how it all started,
How it all
like
started. Yes.
yeah, and how
Thank you.
how you work,
Yes.
you and Daniel, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would love to hear about that. And
in 2019, so we're back in 2019 now, I was kind of in my head, I thought, I want to put on a school. I want to do a school. And I can't quite work out how I was going to do it and everything. And then 2020, COVID happened. And everything was shut down, as you know, and everything was like, So it gave me a lot of mental space to think about it. And I rang Daniel up. I think it may be March or I think it was April 2020. And I said to him, just having a quick conversation, what are your thoughts on starting a school? Going into partnership with me and starting a school. And he was like, okay, let me think about it. And it took a year of going back and forth, deciding on a name, setting up a bank account, doing all the registry and of interest stuff, the company house stuff, graphics and all the rest of it. And we actually launched in June 21. And honestly, it's one of the best things I've ever done. Because not only is Daniel a brilliant business partner and friend, and he puts so much into the company, but also, like, I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of the actors that I work with at any level to help them. And I wish that I had this kind of work, when I was first starting as an actor, and so I teach several classes. I teach Monday. I alternate with Daniel Monday nights, and Monday nights, I do every other Monday. He does every other Monday too. And then I've started up a few months ago, and this is something I'm so excited about. It's my own advanced actors sessions. So it's Wednesday night, 6:30 British time, at 1:30 Eastern. It's all on Zoom, and it's for more advanced actors, and that's by application only. So, if I know your work, you want to join, send an email, or just send an email anyway with your spotlight or your actors access, and can see about getting you on.
Okay. And I mean, I obviously know this, but I think it's good for our audience to hear this too, to just to, know how it works. So you can book like separate classes or monthly, or do you have
Yes.
yearly? Do you have a half a year too? How do you do this now?
People can book monthly classes 4 times a month, or they can book as many as they want. We do in-person classes Tuesday and Wednesdays. We do in-person Meisner classes on Saturdays in London.
Mm-hmm.
Also on Zoom as well. We teach on Zoom. We have a wonderful small tight-knit group of coaches who work with us. We have Tom. We also have Nicole as well, and and obviously me and Daniel do our classes as well. And then occasionally we have other one-off classes as well, like Jen does a class every now and again as well. And every month we have an industry professional session, which is completely free to actors that are registered in that month. Otherwise, I think it's like £10, where we have an industry guest on, like a casting director or a director or a showrunner or a producer or someone. And we've had on some wonderful, wonderful guests in the last 4 years, including an Academy Award nominee, including many, many casting directors. For example, Rose from Indie Gold Casting, Laura McFadden from Theo Park Casting, Sharon Sorrentino, Gabby White-Hart. And it's just an opportunity for actors to connect with and build a relationship with that person. Because as I said before, this is an industry that is based on relationship.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you not? It's your permission to kind of go to email and say, thank you so much for doing that casting workshop, or, that, industry professional session, here's my materials, or, for example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. And they also obviously can ask questions and maybe like get an
Yeah.
insight into
It's,
that's really
the industry sessions are just an hour, and it's a really informal, fun chat on Zoom. It's a two-way process. It's like Daniel and I are there, and then all the actors are there, and it's just like, oh, so we have a question from this person, da da da, and it's like, no, you connect, and it goes back to what you said, Eva, about connection.
Mm-hmm.
Connecting on a human level is everything, rather than just connecting on a what can you do for me, right? It's like, no, this is my heart. I'm going to show you my heart and say, just when you were talking just then and I got emotional, it's like, no, this is my heart that I'm showing you here,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, no, it's not what can you do for me? It's about let's have a shared experience here,
Mm-hmm.
about thing. And so I think that actors can actually help themselves a lot by kind of not asking for a job, but just saying, thank you so much for casting this project. Thank you so much for cast. Let's just say,
Yeah.
a particular series. Let's take Baby Reindeer, right? Amazing Baby Reindeer show, fantastic. Gallus a genius. Everyone works on the show is fantastic, well deserved of all the awards. But let's just say you email Martin Ware and Nina Gold and Sasha Garrett, who cast it. Let's just say you send them an email, but instead of saying, if there's something that you think about that I will cast for in your future productions, please keep me in mind, which doesn't mean anything. And it's like, put the emphasis on them. You say, thank you so much for casting Baby Reindeer. It meant so much to me. And I really love this character because, for some reason, I really appreciate your work. And then your name underneath and whatever. It's like, it makes it so simple. And you're building that relationship all the time. Because everyone has an ego and everyone loves kind of being complimented on their work. So
Love being seen, right? That is what it
oh
is.
man, yes, amen.
We want
We
to be
want to be
seen.
seen.
Yeah.
We want to be heard. We want to be seen. And this comes down to like our basics, essentially. When we were infants, we cried as an infant because we wanted to be held. We want to be seen by our primary caregivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And it's also about, you wouldn't probably send 100 emails like that. That would mean something because that is the project that touched your heart. That is something that you feel like the connection to it. So it's actually something meaningful to you. You're not gonna. I don't imagine that you suggest that, it's like you fake it. No, it's like something that you felt a genuine connection. That's to me what's networking is about. You just go there and you like seek people who mean something to you. Not like they have opportunities for you. It's like a byproduct that can happen or not, but like the essence is the relationship, the building the connection.
Absolutely.
And that's beautiful.
And that takes a practice, Valeria, right? That's a practice. It's like, if you're at a party, you don't know anyone, and I'm quite shy. I don't do a lot of parties type things, but it's like if you're at a party, you don't know anyone, it's like you take away the pressure of yourself from trying to get something from someone. You're just talking to someone just about anything. Like, for example, I was at a little networking event a few days ago here where I live, and I was talking to this guy, and I just said, "I really like your t-shirt." He had a Scooby-Doo t-shirt on.
Oh, I like it.
So it's really cool. Like wearing a t-shirt.
It.
And I said, "Oh, I really like your t-shirt." He said, "Thank you very much." He goes, "You're British?" I said, "Yes, I am, because I live in Alabama, US." This wall, this is Alabama. And and he said, I said, yeah. So we got chatting, and it was literally we were talking about Scooby-Doo for 5 minutes, different characters in Scooby-Doo, and it was brilliant. Because you know what it did? It took the pressure off. So what do you do? So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And it's like,
Let's just talk about Scooby-Doo.
That's the perfect networking. Go and wear a Scooby-Doo t-shirt.
Of course.
The character of your choice.
Let's talk about Scooby-Doo. I love it.
Yeah. And do you know what I just want to take a moment, because this whole conversation has felt like it's just flowed. This whole chat between us has just flowed. We've covered so many different topics. Everything from suicide and Scooby-Doo to making love to the work and doing all these things, and it's just so wonderful. I just want to take a moment just to acknowledge that. Thank you both so much.
Thank you. It felt the same to us.
You know what I would like to talk to you about is your acting career.
Yes.
And the way you create the work yourself also. You're not just waiting. Tell us about that.
My acting career is wonderful. My acting career is, I'm encompassing everything from getting my headshots done, to my self-tapes that I do, as well as the roles I've booked. And when I think about it in those terms, it's like, my acting career is really, really rich. I self-tape a lot for different things and different projects, and it's so exciting to me to be able to do that. And I think it's much more healthy way to think about it. I moved to America in March 2022, and I had within a few weeks, I had the booking for this film. So, oh God, this is amazing. This is great. Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm on this movie and And I shot the movie, shot it in Nashville, shot the movie, and then I got a whole bunch of other auditions coming in. I was like, oh, yeah, this is great. This is great. And then I went through a period, maybe, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, say. It was an insanely short amount of time, maybe 6 weeks, that I wasn't getting an audition. And I was thinking, but I've gotten 2 or 3 self-tape requests a week for different things, big TV shows and big movies, and Kevin Costner on Zoom and doing all these things, and it's like, oh no, I didn't. And it's like, it was a real mind shift, because then it's like, no, the career, yes, I can talk about the jobs I've booked, which of course I'm happy to do, but it's like the career is, then it's about coming back to yourself and going, what is it? This is fine. This is okay. But it's a practice and everything.
Can I just, one thing, like, you can't just drop the bomb of like Kevin Costner on Zoom and then just go.
I can.
Like, what? That is, can we just
What's that
watch
about?
how was that?
Yes. Yeah, that was really interesting. Basically, it was for his two-part Western
Oh yeah,
epic,
yeah.
Horizon. So I emailed the casting director.
Mm.
Okay, so this goes back to being audacious. Oh my God, I'm just forgetting all the things.
Yes.
Right, this goes back to being audacious. I emailed the casting director from my agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, by the way, I think you'd like Danny Steele because he's done this, this, and this. And I got the self-tape request, did the self-tape, different versions on the self-tape. And it was like, oh yeah, and we set up a Zoom call. He said, oh, do you want to? So we set up this Zoom call.
Mm.
Casting director's there, Kevin Costner's there on Zoom, and a few other, one or two other people, perhaps there were producers were there as well. And I'm like, okay, Kevin Costner just on Zoom, just a little Zoom box, and his name, Kevin Costner, underneath, just as we are right now. And I was like, okay. And there was I was playing a Scottish kind of cowboy type. Yeah, to bust out the Scottish accent.
Danny, you can't stop there. We're all like, and then
left us hanging.
it's like, to be continued.
But let me tell you what Kevin Costner was like on set. I can't because I didn't book that role. But but here's the thing, like it doesn't matter. It's like, no, it's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's the experience.
Yeah, it's expensive. And we all go through it's kind of what you said earlier on, Valeria, about the 100%, not knowing that it's going to be 100%, not realizing that you don't have to be 100%. And it's like we'll go with these kind of ebbs and flows and peaks and troughs and things in the industry. And it's like, okay, but that was a win. That was a win.
Yes.
That experience, and Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, one of the founders of Apple, he had this very well-known phrase about you can't plot your career going forward, but you can plot it going backwards. When you look backwards, all the steps that you have taken have led you up to this moment here. And now I realize that nearly 3 years on, that moment there on Zoom, like, no, now I'm doing these things here. And now I'm getting like my first offer on our show, and without auditioning, and so it's all these interesting little moments, and there isn't 1, 2, 3, 4 ways to get into the industry. There's an infinite amount of ways. And
beautiful.
The other thing is, it is, and it's a what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's a corny expression. But it is a marathon. It really is. It's not a sprint. There are no careers that are built overnight, despite what the media might be alluding to. Everyone takes time.
Yeah, I think it's like this notion of control of us as humans wanting to imagine that we have it and that we can actually think 2 steps ahead sometimes.
Yes.
It's good to have a plan, but then the rest is like, it's unknown, it's unwritten. And there is this book that I've just remembered that I I read, I think, during the pandemic. It was Nassim Taleb for The Black Swan, and you just said that you quoted Steve Jobs, that you can kind of plot your career backwards. Next is exactly what Nassim Taleb says about like history and all the events. It's like our brain is a prediction machine, so we think that we can kind of look into the future based on the events of the past and see what is going to happen. In reality, it's like it's a black swan. So anything can happen and everything can happen, and we cannot just like see one way into the future, but every single step leads you up to the future.
What was the name of the book?
Black Swan.
Oh, okay, so just called Black Swan.
Yeah.
Okay. I love a good book recommendation, by the way. I'm a bibliophile.
Please, we live for it.
We need to read that. Yeah, definitely want to hear that. Read that one too.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something just in regards to that, but I've forgotten what it was. So yeah, I might come back to that.
Okay. Well, you talked about, which when we talked about Kevin Costner, you went into union management.
Yes, correct.
Again, we have something more here on the plate. Danny has a lot of doors. Just saying, just saying.
I've worked
Yeah, tell us.
I've worked in talent management since 2002, so 23 years for various companies, big companies, small companies. You know, I've worked in casting as well as a casting assistant, freelance casting assistant as well. And again, I think setting up union management, I set up union management in 2014, one of the best things I've done, because one of my core values is freedom. And it means that I can effectively run a company, make money from a company, make money from a side hustle, be very good at it. And that does not make me any less of an actor. In fact, it just empowers me more. And it's really.
Danny, can you say that again, please? Just repeat that. I think this is so important.
Gorgeous.
Please repeat that for all of us listening and that need to hear this.
Making money on your side hustle does not make you any less of an actor. It empowers you more. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I say that?
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. Because I think a lot of actors think, oh my God, I'm not an actor if I do this thing. Right? But that's complete nonsense. We're acting every single day in our day-to-day with our family, with our partner, with our work. It's like, no, we are actors. We all know how to act. That doesn't change. It doesn't stop us being a good actor. But so yeah, I set that up in 2014, and essentially it means that I have the freedom to be able to do that. And it's great. 15% of the time I love it. No, I love it. I love it. I love it.
And it's great. 6% of the time I love it.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
No, I honestly, I really do. And I do a very, very good job, and I'm a big believer in, you don't have to stay in your lane if you don't want to. You don't have to do that. You can pick all the fucking lanes. You can drive around in circles if you want. You can, it doesn't matter. You are driving your big fucking truck, and you can just speed along the fast lane, go into the middle lane, into the other lane, into the other lane if you want. You don't have to just pick one thing and be good at it. You can be good at several things, and that's okay.
I love it. I like that.
This is just in general with life, but like definitely all things artistic, because sometimes even if you imagine like you're a writer, but you have nothing published,
Yes.
that's my thing, and for a while I was just even struggling, and Eva knows that at the beginning, because I changed careers, and
Yes.
I've been writing very, very long time. I've never considered myself a writer though. I mean, I did, but deep inside, but I've never had this audacity to kind of say it out loud. I was like, that's like a hobby, something that I do. Some people say I'm actually good at it, but I don't know. That's kind of thing. And it's just because it's, there are all those social conditioning that you're a writer then A, B, C, D, or like you're a filmmaker if this, and this. If you're an actor when you hit all those. And it doesn't have to be like you're an actor if you decide you're an actor. You're a writer if you decide, and like you do something, you make meaningful steps to you, and they lead you somewhere. This is, I think, a very beautiful message. I hope it resonates with a lot of people who are listening to this, because it is the truth. Like if you decide you are someone, you can manifest it, you can become better, you can take any road, you can make detours, who the fuck cares? Like, it's your life, right?
This is the thing, and I love what you said there, Valeria. You're a writer if you can, if you decide you're a writer, you're a writer, right? Too much of Western society is patriarchal. Society is concentrating on the results, and actually, no, that's the wrong way of looking at it. I mean, it's not the most healthiest way of looking at it. It's like, no, I'm an actor. It doesn't matter about what jobs I've got. I'm still an actor. And if I say to you, Valeria, right now, no, you are a writer. And by the way, side note, I'd love to read some of your work. Really,
She's
genuinely.
so talented.
Yeah,
Valeria is
Okay.
just,
yeah, I don't doubt it.
it's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
honestly.
I would love to listen to it.
Yeah, no, please do. Because how does it feel to you in your chest right now when I say that you are a writer?
I just feel so happy. Yeah, it's like the biggest sensation. I honestly have been wrestling this for a while, but it happened all like last year. Just in general, because you feel like an imposter, especially you change careers and then, you know, you're working on a movie, and we worked with Eva, and she's like professional actor, like, and I felt, you know, this obviously like she's lovely to work with, but you have this whole kind of identity in front of you who's worked before and had like different experiences, and you are very new to this clearly. And it was a lot to take in. At the same time, it was the most beautiful experience, and it allowed me to come to terms myself with this, that that's my reality and that's what I want to do, and I have to own it. And I love your idea about permission slip. That's like what you have to give yourself. Nobody's gonna give it to you, and even if they do, it's meaningless, because in reality the only person whose permission matters is yourself.
Of course.
And you can self-sabotage in so many ways that it's countless. Like it goes unnoticed, but it happens every single day. As long as you allow it to happen. This is actually something that you can truly control. And it all starts with awareness. If you become aware of the things that you jeopardize your own, you know, projects and ideas and your future, I feel that's the first step. And then everything else, it's a daily work. It's not something that just like you decide once and then it all becomes very easy. No, but it becomes easier.
You know what, Valeria, you used the word at the start, and, you know, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that experience. You used a word earlier there, imposter, because you felt like an imposter. The sense of, I don't belong here. And at some point, someone is going to find out, and they're going to go, Valeria, your name is not on the list. Please leave.
Exactly.
But it's like, you know, and Eva and I have had similar conversations about, you know, just in reference to the acting world. It's like, no. I deserve to be here. I belong here. But the imposter syndrome is often tied up with perfectionism. It's often tied up with what other people think. But actually, as you said, the only person that matters is ourselves. And knowing that we're good enough to actually do the thing. Yeah.
And also, if you think about it, other people don't think about you that much. They're so much into their own
Of course.
world.
Of course.
They don't care. They're like,
they don't care.
whatever.
Other people are too tied up in their own shit to actually think about yours. Right? So, you know, that's it. No one is thinking about you. Well, no, you know, no one is thinking about you in the way that you think people might be.
Oh, Danny, this has been gorgeous. Thank you so
really good.
much. It's been amazing. I just want to ask you one tiny thing, because you have such a talent of just, you know, I don't know, lifting people up, giving us energy. And do you also work with directors, writers? Have you done that? Do you do that?
In terms of as an actor and a coach, yes. In terms of an agency, I used to represent directors and writers separately, but I don't do anymore.
Okay, got it. So, but the coaching program, because, you know, the intentional actor, that sounds for me, it's like potentially intentional director, intentionally writer. You know what I mean? Because it is the biggest thing, is that how we are in our own way, the self-sabotage. That's the biggest thing.
Of course. And, you know it's called the intentional actor, but it's not just, you know, I have coaching clients who aren't actors. And you're absolutely right. It's about getting out of your own way and actually getting realizing that actually the problem that you have given yourself
Mm.
is just being in your own way and overthinking and doing these things rather than kind of going, okay, taking a step back. You know, so I work with, I've got 2 current writer clients, you know, and it's the process is exactly the same to actors. It's exactly the same. There is no difference. Yeah.
I have one tiny little question because you have before work and it's like, you know, you have like your fingers sticking on pies. What is the other pie that you maybe are looking at? What else do you want to do? Is there something that you haven't been doing but like been thinking?
Man. All right. So one of the things I want to put on, I live in Birmingham, Alabama, and one of the things I want to put on is a Birmingham Actors Boot Camp here in Birmingham. The artistic community here is fantastic. There's so many wonderful actors I've met. And I want to put on something like that in the fall, towards the end of the year, and just bringing people together in a community and having like serious seminars. I'd like to do that. That's short term. Long term goal, I'd like to get my private pilot's license. That sounds pretty cool. So I'd like to do that. And also, there used to be, okay, there's only one now because it's over there. I don't know if I can show you, but it's over there. There's a big church piano. There's a big church organ there. There used to be piano on that side of the room, but I put that downstairs in the basement because it wasn't working. Learning piano. Always loved piano. Yeah. So, yeah.
Beautiful goals.
Same here. I like the pilot thing. That's kind of sexy. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
why not?
Let's learn to fly a plane. Let's, be a pilot.
Cool.
Yeah. But again, right now, you don't want me flying your plane.
No.
Just saying.
No. Maybe not now. Let's talk.
Exactly.
We'll have you back on.
We don't yet have a plane ever as well to fly. So
we're working on it, girl. We're working on it.
Yeah.
You can fly our private plane, okay?
Perfect.
It's
I will
going to
do
be
that.
the Ambitchiously Intelligent private plane.
I love this. The Ambitiously Intelligent Airlines.
I'm sure there's a really rich investor listening or watching. Kind of make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Yes, please.
Make it happen.
And then we'll make sure that Danny is like, is doing his pilot thing so he can be a part of it. Let's just all fly.
It will be the first podcast recorded on the plane.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think there is one.
I think it's been done, to be honest. I'm sure. What is his name? Mr. Beast? Definitely has done it.
Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a cool dude.
You know, some things in life they deplete us, or they fill our tank, depending on what the things are. I just want to say that this conversation has really filled my tank. I feel really whole. I feel really full. My heart feels full, and I just want to say there's so much love, and thank you so much. I have so much love for both of you for actually doing this, and just because this conversation, but all your previous podcasts, or your previous conversations you've had with wonderful people, and it's so good. You're putting wonderful things out in the world. You're giving voices. Your voices are so important as well. And I just want to say thank you for being here and doing it and making all this happen.
You're making us emotional. And everyone, if you're listening or watching, this is why you need to work with Danny. I'm just saying.
Please do yourself a favor.
Do yourself a favor. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.